Alright. First things first.
Discriminate.
Discriminant. If we ask you to solve this, do you want to factor that? No. And maybe it doesn't even factor. Right? What if we can't factor? What if we don't know how to factor it? What we're going to do is we're going to use a quadratic formula. So, the quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Like I said, this is something you will need to know. You'll use it this year, you'll use it next year, you'll use it the year after. Right? You will not be given it on the test.
It's a life skill.
Once you use it like 4 or 5 times, you'll remember it. Now, if you have trouble remembering things, I have some really cool tricks for remembering it.
Oh, yeah?
We're going to do a sing-along.
Oh,
How exciting is this? And the recordings, you get to see it too.
Why is it always 7th hour? Who's not here in 7th hour?
Actually, it's Jalen as well. She asked me to record.
Oh. Ooh. We hate you, Joe.
Patrick, don't be a bully. Alright.
Just being honest. Just being honest.
Hey guys, this is Julie with Mahalo.com.
You guys should be quiet. Because if you're not quiet during the video, I'm going to make you sing along to it.
Now every once in a while you're going to have a teacher that's going to put this on the test and they're going to say you need to have it memorized. So how are you going to
Just
memorize
said
it? We've got a song. It's a song everybody knows. So we're going to sing this equation to the tune of Row, Row, Row Your Boat. Now I'm going to start with, I am not a singer. I'm a math teacher. So excuse the singing. I'm going to sing it once for you, and then I'm going to ask you to sing it along with me. Here goes nothing. X equals opposite b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. It's important to know the word is opposite, not negative b.
Negative
Because
sign.
sometimes when you're plugging in a b,
She's
you
wrong.
need the opposite sign. So we use the word opposite there. Let's try it again.
You guys ready?
Sing with me this time. No, seriously, we're going to sing. I know nobody's around. Sing it with me. Remember, it's row, row, row your boat. Here we go. X equals opposite b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Learn this, you'll never forget it. Thanks for learning.
How exciting is that? You guys gonna do it one more time? You guys all gonna sing? We'll do it one more time.
See you next time.
One more.
Opposite b plus or minus.
Ready? Are you guys ready?
Yes.
I want everyone to sing.
X equals opposite b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a.
Alright, so that's the first way if you want to remember using a song. So you like to sing to yourself. I don't know.
I do, but not.
Or, if you want to go golfing, you can do that too. That's not it. That's not it. Another great saying here.
Okay, what's up? Alright, so this video is about this video is about a really awesome way to remember the quadratic formula that I learned from my professor.
Guys, stay quiet.
I've never forgotten it, so I thought that I would share it with you. Ready for this? A negative boy couldn't decide whether he should go to a radical party, but being square, he decided not to go. He missed out on 4 awesome chicks. Party was not over until 2 a.m. Boom. Quadratic formula.
Wait, one more time. Because I know you are all interested.
Alright, so this video is about a really awesome way to remember the quadratic formula that I learned from my professor a couple years ago. And I've never forgotten it, so I thought that I would share it with you. Ready for this? A negative boy couldn't decide whether he should go to a radical party, but being square, he decided not to go. He missed out on 4 awesome chicks. The party was not over until 2 a.m. Boom. Quadratic formula.
I like that one better.
In case you want to write it down, I don't know, I'll leave it up there. So no, those are just 2 ways to remember it. Otherwise, you can just remember negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Right? It's up to you. However you want to remember it, you do it. But you will need to know it for the test. Alright, is that understood? Okay. Hey. I'm going to leave it up for about another 15, 20 seconds. If you want to write it down. If you're still writing that down, I'll probably keep it up for you. But take a second, write it down if you want. Or hold this, I will post both those videos to Schoology, and you can watch them as many times as you want.
I'll show them my parents and stuff.
You need to show your parents, this is what I learned at school. Alright, so, quadratic formula. Anytime you can't factor a quadratic, or you don't want to, as long as it is in standard form and equal to 0, you can use the quadratic formula. Okay? So if we look, this is how we derive it. This is how we get the quadratic formula. What's going to happen here is we are going to solve for x starting in standard form. You guys all have an extra piece of paper to write this on, right? So we're going to go through and we're going to prove the whole thing. I'm just kidding. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're just giving you the quadratic formula. It does come from standard form. So if you start at ax squared plus bx plus c and you solve for x, you will get the quadratic formula. Now, if you want to go through and do all that, you're more than welcome to, but we're not going to take up class time to do it. Alright? So we're just giving you the quadratic formula. You can trust us. It does come from the standard form. And that's how we're going to solve for x. Okay? Alright, so solving using quadratic formula. Tottenham sucks, Bob. He'll watch us later. Alright, so 4x squared minus 7x plus 11 equals 0, right? A, it's in standard form. B, it's equal to 0. So I know I can use quadratic formula. Okay? I know I don't want to factor this, so I know I'm going to have to use quadratic formula. Remember when we said anytime it's in standard form, we want to find what A, B, and C equals? This is why we do that. This is why we did C. We're going to find A equals 4, B equals negative 7, C equals 11. A equals that, C, B, C. Right? Now what we're going to do is we're going to take those values, plug it into our quadratic formula. So I get x equals, what's negative 7, or opposite negative 7? 7 plus or minus the square root of negative 7 squared minus 4 times A is 4, C is 11, all over 2 times 4. Right, all I'm doing is I'm figuring out what A, B, and C equals, and then plugging it in. So, kind of start solving. Equals 7 plus or minus the square root of negative 7 squared is 49. Minus, what's 4 times 11?
170.
What?
No, 170.
I can't hear you.
Negative 4 times 4?
4 times 4 times 11.
Negative 176.
Okay, 176.
I trust you. I just want to get my notes. I don't know where I put them. Okay. Alright, so. You said we get 176? Alright, so we're at 176. So, over 8. Seven plus or minus the square root. 49 minus 176 gives me negative 127 over 8. Right? We all follow so far? All we've done is simple calculations. What's the square root of negative 127? Something, right? What?
It's I something.
We know it's going to be I something, right? It's I squared times 127. Right? We can break it up into 2 square roots. Right? Because negative 1 is the same as I squared. So negative 1 times 127. Is there any perfect squares that go into 127? No. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to write it as 7 plus or minus I square root of 127 over 8. That's my answer, right? X equals that. That's what x equals. That's 2 answers there. 7 plus I squared 127 over 8 and 7 minus I squared root of 127 over 8. That's your final answer. It's all we can get because we don't want to round. We don't want to do the square root of 127. That's our final answer for that problem. Any questions? So with the quadratic formula, sometimes you'll leave it like this. Sometimes you leave it with simplest radical form. And sometimes it'll come out to two nice numbers. Alright, the next one. 9x squared plus 2x equals 30. What do I have to do before I can use quadratic formula? Get it equal to 0, so subtract 30. 9x squared plus 2x minus 30 equals 0. If at any point you can factor it and you want to factor it and solve, you are more than welcome to. If you don't want to factor and you want to use quadratic formula, then use quadratic formula. A equals 9, B equals 2, C equals negative 30. So, negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 2 squared minus 4 times 9 times negative 30 all over 2a. So 2 times 9. Do you all follow where those numbers are coming from? Okay. Negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 plus, what's 4 times 9 times negative 30? $1080. So I get minus negative 1080, which is plus 1080 over 18. It's negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 1084 over 18. Take that square root of 1084. Are there any perfect squares that go into it? 4 does. So if I take 4 out of it, I get square root of 4 and square root of 271. So I get 2 square roots of 271. Are there any perfect squares that go into 271? No? Alright. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this. Instead of saying square root of 1084, I'm going to do 2 square roots of 271. Negative 2 plus or minus 2 square roots of 271 over 18. That's your answer? Is
No.
that what you think?
Get simplify 2 and 8.
Okay, hold on. What do you mean by I can simplify 2 and 18? What is that? Like what?
You can do 1 9. Or would it be negative 2 and 8?
Here's the deal. The top part, if I'm going to factor anything out, it's got to come out of both pieces. So I'm not going to do negative 2 and 18 by itself. I'm not going to do 2 and 18 by itself. I need to take a 2 out of all of my pieces. So it'd be like we're factoring a 2 out of the top. So it becomes negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 271 over 9. Right? It's just like we factored a 2 out of both pieces in the top and simplified it with our denominator. So if you're going to take it out of any piece on the top here, it's got to be out of both. Right? Negative 1, 1, 9. So this is my final answer. Negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 271 over 9. Okay? Any questions? Alright, let's do one more. X squared equals negative 6x minus 8. Paige, what do I have to do to this?
Make it equal 0.
Make it equal 0. So I'm going to add 6x. X squared plus 6x equals negative 8. I'm going to add 8. X squared plus 6x plus 8 equals 0. Okay? We could probably factor that, couldn't we?
Yeah.
It factors to 4 and 2. But I'm going to do the quadratic formula instead. It's a different type of problem. A equals 1, B equals 6, C equals 8. With this one, we're going to see come out to 2 nice numbers. Right? So the first thing we saw was we talked about the 2 complex solutions. The next one we saw came out with 2 real solutions, but it wasn't very nicely simplified. And this one we're going to see come out to 2 really nice solutions. So I'm going to get negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times 8 all over 2 times 1. Right? Well, if I do some of that calculations, negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 36 minus 32 over 2. Dom, what's 36 minus 32? 4. So, negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 4 divided by 2. Well, what's the square root of 4? 2. Negative 6 plus or minus 2 over 2. What is going to happen here is it's going to split into 2 pieces now. I'm going to do negative 6 plus 2 over 2 and negative 6 minus 2 over 2. So if you get it down to the point where it's really nice numbers to work with, split it up and find both answers. Negative 6 plus 2 will give me negative 4 over 2, which is negative 2. Negative 8 over 2 will give me negative 4. You would have got the same exact answers by factoring it. So we got x equals negative 2, x equals negative 4. Okay? So quadratic formula works for any quadratic in standard form when it's equal to 0. Okay? Any questions? Okay. No questions at all. Alright, we got a couple more things to do. So, not yesterday, because we weren't here yesterday. On Friday, we talked about how to figure out what type of solutions we're going to get by looking at our graph on our calculator, right? We're going to do the same thing, except now we're going to look at the discriminant. The discriminant is the piece underneath the radical. Right? It's b squared minus 4ac. That's what we call the discriminant. That's a vocab word. Discriminant. B squared minus 4ac. The discriminant is an easy snapshot that will help us classify the roots. It will help us classify what type of solutions we're going to have. Right? If the discriminant comes out to be positive, you get 2 real solutions. If it comes out to be negative, you get 2 complex solutions. And if it comes out to be 0, you get 1 real solution. Now, let's think about it for a second. Why is that the case? If it's positive, under that radical, what are you going to get? You're going to get a positive number come out of it, right? If it's 4, we're going to get a 2, and we're going to get 2 real solutions. If this comes out to be negative, what happens?
It's going to be
I, because we're taking the square root of a negative number. So that's why we get 2 complex solutions. And if it equals 0, then what does it come out to? What's the square root of 0?
0.
0. And that'd be like plus or minus 0. So that's why we only get 1 solution now. So that's the theory behind those. So positive is 2 real, negative is 2 complex, 0 is 1 real. Okay? So if we look here, let's just do, should we just do 2 of them? You're going to do all 3? 2. Alright. First one. Standard form equal to 0. A equals 4. B equals negative 12. C equals 9. Right? All I'm going to do, because all it's asking, find the value of the discriminant. Tell how many real and distinct roots the equation has. So I'm going to take negative b, not negative b, I don't want the whole thing. I just want the discriminant. I just want b squared minus 4ac. That's all I want. So b is negative 12, so I get negative 12 squared minus 4 times 4, which is a, times c. So I get 144 minus 144, which equals what?
0.
0. So which type of solutions are we going to get here? 1 real solution, right? Because it equals 0, I get 1 real solution. That's all it's asking us to do. Plug it into the discriminant, figure out how many solutions it'll have. Let's do the last one. A equals 3, B equals 6, C equals 12. Remember, all I want is the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac. 6 squared minus 4 times 3 times 12. So 36 minus 144 gives me negative 108. So Caden, what type of solutions am I going to get if I have negative 108?
Too complex.
Two complex solutions. Alright? So in order to ask for the discriminant to tell how many types of solutions it has, that's all it's asking. Okay? Alright. I think that's it. Homework.